Here comes the brand new flavor in your ear. Hey, brand new flavor in your ear, cause I'm kicking new flavor in your ear. Brand new flavor in your ear. So this week I asked, what was the point that you realized you sucked in Mortal Kombat? And some of your answers, man. One person put, I keep losing to my 10-year-old son, and I've been playing since I was 8. Shake my head. Your kid is 10 and you're losing to your kid? Come on. You gotta play cheap. How good could he be at 10? Well, I guess he could be pretty good, but at that point, he's grounded. How about that? How are you gonna play without a controller? I signed up for an MK11 tournament online, won the first match, so I was feeling good, then proceeded to get 3-0'd with 2 hits total on my opponent. Man, let me see. I asked who he used. He said he used Shao Kahn, which MK11 Shao Kahn, come on, of course you're gonna get beat up. Shao Kahn then switched to Shang Tsung, tried to zone a bit, but failed right away. Oh man, back where I think zoning was really good in MK11. Okay. Switched to Shang Tsung, tried to zone a little bit, failed right away. He was using Kano, the Molotov variation, and it was unstoppable. Kano was pretty good in MK11. Kano was pretty good. When I got older and my dad stopped pulling his combos, you know what? Sometimes, and this goes for the first person. The parent, you gotta establish dominance, both in life and in video games. You can't just have your kid running amok all willy-nilly, beating you up. No, you gotta mollywop them in everything. You gotta be able to outrun your kid. You gotta be able to outfight your kid. Real life, you can't have your kid beating you up, and you can't have your kid beating you up in video games either. That is a no-no. Okay, someone else says, it was an early Sunday morning. I was enjoying my status as demigod. Good old bowl of cereal, had some nice music playing in the background, fired up the PS5. I was sitting comfortably, and then I was matched up with a Baraka Cyrax. I haven't been able to play MK1 since. When's MK2? Oh man. Yeah, Batman. In the heyday, I say the heyday, the game has only been out a month, but on release, Baraka Cyrax was not nice to play against, not at all. Someone else said, when I fight another player that uses the same main character that I use and beat me up, man, we've all been there. Someone mirror matches you and then or here's the worst thing, is that you're playing someone and whether you win or lose, I mean, it's even more embarrassing if you lose. You pick a character, they pick a character, they beat you. Then they ask for a casual match or whatever. You go in, you play them again, but then they pick your character and then proceed to beat you with your character. Like, no, you're playing the character all wrong. This is how you do it. And you just want to strangle them. Ay, 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 ay. Speaking about Mortal Kombat, so we got a new trailer for Omni-Man and Tremor. It's alright. It's okay. We got some more combo stuff. We saw some more moves. Clearly, Tremor has 3 variations, it looks like. Each with, it looks like they all have 3 moves each. We don't know if you choose variations before you, like on the character select screen, kind of like MKX, or if you can switch mid-fight, which would be ridiculous. Either way, I don't like the idea of Tremor having 9 attacks, essentially. I just feel like it downplays all the other cameos so far. But and by the way, Crystallis has a has a projectile reflect, which I don't know. I feel like NetherRealm, they never do counters Right, like they don't like counters. They'll always put a counter in a game, but believe me, they don't like counters because they're always bad. I use Montaro a lot, Motaro rather, in MK1, and the reflect is terrible. So I'm not having a lot of hope for Crystallis Tremor variation. But other than that, I mean, it looks okay. They're not being released together. It looks like we're going to be getting Omni-Man November 9th, so that's right around the corner. And then we're going to be getting Tremor November 20th. So, and that's really it. I mean, Omni-Man looks cool. I'm sure there'll be a ton of people playing him online. And I do want to try Tremor because I always liked him in MKX, but other than that, it looks cool. I was thinking about this recently. I was thinking about why it feels like, I mean, fighting games right now are bigger than I think they've ever been. They're selling more than they ever have. I think the player base is bigger than it's ever been. But it doesn't, I feel like there's a lack of community when it comes to fighting games, more so than it was back in the day. And I think I know the reason why, at least for my personal opinion, why it feels like the community is not as tight knit or not as robust. And I think it's because of lack of locals. Everyone just plays online now, which rightfully so. You don't have to go anywhere, you don't have to commute, you don't have to park, you just sit in front of the TV, your bathroom's right there, you got your cereal, sweet. Man, it's been so long since I've had cereal. Like a Captain Crunch. Man, I could finish an entire box of Captain Crunch in one sitting. But yeah, if like everything's right there, you don't have to go anywhere. You got your food, you got everything. Your TV, you just sit right there and you play online. And sometimes it's kind of cool. You get in a lobby with some friends and you can play like that. But I don't know. It's just I feel like it's harder to meet new friends and become friends with people when you're not at a local. I felt like growing up, I've always had some form of a local video game, I don't know, place to play. Not necessarily a tournament, but somewhere where people congregated just to play video games. I remember back in the Bronx, there was an arcade. I mean, back then, I'm an old man, as you can see. So we had an arcade right downstairs from my apartment, and we would go there, play video games, the original MK1, MK2, those kind of days, Street Fighter 2. Oh man, good times. All the Mortal Kombat clones were all there. So I have a story about that place I have to maybe talk about later on a different video. But there was almost a shootout at that local, and I kind of had to stop going there. But after I left New York, I went to go live in Jamaica, and Jamaica is very third world in every sense of the word. So they didn't really have an arcade, but where I went to school, there was a place not too far down the road. It was maybe a block or 2 blocks down. And I remember our teachers would always tell us, don't go to this place. I think it's mainly because they don't want us spending money and our time playing video games when we should be studying. But there was this place down the road where just some guy, and I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he got the word out because this is pre-internet. But this guy just bought a bunch of TVs and bought a bunch of systems. So he had like I don't know, 7 TVs, and he had like 3 Super Nintendos and like 3 Sega Genesis. Sega Genesis. What is the plural for Sega Genesis? Sega Genocide. He had 3 systems that were Sega Genesis, and just a whole bunch of games. So what you would do is you would go in, you would say, I want to play this game on this system, and you would pay like $20. Granted, 20 Jamaican dollars is like, I don't know, it was like $5 American. So think of it like that. It's like you paid $5 to play for like half an hour. So it's like you and your friend both pay your $5. I want to play Mortal Kombat 3. This was around the time Mortal Kombat 3 came out on home console. Um, you pay your money, and then you guys got to sit there and play for an hour. And people would just come in and essentially rent the game right there to play. And it was cool because you would get to meet new people who were also there to play. You would learn new tech. I mean, everything that you would get from a local. You get that sense of community. You get people who like the same things that you do. And then you just become friends. And man, I think that we're really, really missing that. I would really love to start a local, but how do you even do that? How do you even? I mean, you got to find it's just such a money investment because you got to rent the place, you got to have the systems, you got to have the TVs. People can bring their own controllers, but there's a big, big upfront cost. Oh man, let me think. After I left Jamaica, I moved to Florida, and Florida, I didn't really find a local until I started going to this place called Comic Connection, and at Comic Connection was like they sold comic books, and people went there to play card games. And just down the street from Comic Connection, this guy named Tommy lived there, and we would just all go to Tommy's house. A bunch of guys would just be like, after playing cards, let's go to Tommy's house. And so it was just a guy's house. It wasn't like a business, or it wasn't somewhere that held tournaments regularly. It was just some guy's house that really loved Smash Brothers. So people just went there. He had a GameCube, and we just played Smash. We played teams, we played free for all, we played one-on-ones. Oh, you know what? I'm lying. Before I get to Comic Connection and Tommy's house, there was another house that I would go to play video games. My buddy Chris, and it's funny because we would. This was every day. We would go to school, come home. Everyone would go home, do their homework, get a quick snack, sit on the throne for a little bit. And then everyone would meet at Chris's house, and we would just play Smash. And when I say Smash, I mean the original Nintendo 64 Smash. We played some other games there too, like we played Flying Dragon, which I have a video about that game on this channel, and a couple other games, but mainly it was Smash Brothers, and we killed that game. I mean, we played that game all day, every day for, I don't know, maybe until Melee came out, essentially. After that, I remember I held a little get together at we had like a clubhouse in this complex that I lived in, and I rented the clubhouse. I bought a couple pizzas and invited a bunch of people over, and this was when Melee was released. So upon the release of Smash Brothers Melee, a bunch of us got together and just played the game together. And man, I miss that kind of community. Just a bunch of people. You have your controllers, you're playing games, you're talking about tech, you're calling this person cheap. And speaking about cheap, so Tommy, eventually, this is after Melee was out, and we would all go to this guy's, Tommy's house, to play. And this guy was just a beast. He was an absolutely, positively, without a shadow of a doubt, 100% grade A, money back guaranteed beast. He wasn't fair. He wasn't fair. At one point, he went around the room and beat people with one hand. And he beat one guy with one hand while reading a letter. It's like, how? Oh man, this guy was ridiculous. And I know that, especially I feel like people feel this way when it comes to Smash, but everyone has a friend, or everyone knows someone who's like, oh, you beat me in Smash, but you can't beat my friend's sister, uncle, baby mama, cousin who happens to be in the military right now. But if you played them, you would lose. I get that, but believe me when I say, if you're not a pro player, you're not beating Tommy. you're just not. You're not. He's the best player you've never heard about. That's the best way I can put it. He is the absolute best player you've never heard about. And in fact, if you go to Smash Boards right now and just search Tipman, you'll find a bunch of stuff from him. You'll find how people find how underrated he is. He invented a technique in Melee with Ganondorf, how he would edge guard you with his up air. And it's the most, I don't even know how he came up with this. I think he found it by accident, and then he just kind of asked everyone, like, during a get together, he's like, let me try this against you, like, play me. And it was absolutely ridiculous the way he had. Just do this, search for the Triforce of Power. I think it's on YouTube. In fact, if it is, I will link it in the description. And you know what am I doing? Let me see if I can play some of the some of the Triforce of Power, because this guy was nasty. All right, here we go. It has some music we probably can't play, but just check out some of the stuff. I mean, you can see the quality of video is not that great, because it was done maybe 15 years ago now, something like that. But I want you guys to see when he gets to this. Number one, look at this wave dashing. Look at how buttery smooth. Look at how crisp. Okay, he's just showing off some of the techniques that he's going to show you how he implements them. I can't even talk in an actual fight. But number one, look at this stupid chain throw, which is dumb, which isn't really, I mean, it looks disgusting, but you can DI out of it, or you can air dash out of it. Anyway, so you see that up air, this little flash kick looking thing, that thing hits so low. It hits like 360 degrees. It's ridiculous how low it gets. Okay, hold on. All right, here's the edge guarding. Look at this. Number one, look at the wave dash. Look at the wave. Look, the man is moonwalking essentially. Oh man, I remember he would pull this crap all the time. Okay. Look at how low that gets. You're not, no, look at that. No, clearly you're not seeing this. You guys are not seeing this. Look at this. Hold on. Look at that. It is ridiculous how low that thing gets. Anyway, he created that technique, and everyone on Smash Boards named it the Tipman. They named it after him, and that was the place to go to discuss high-level Smash Brothers. So, just the fact that the man created a technique which is named after him is ridiculous. Anyway, yeah. So, Tommy was disgusting, but Tommy's house was one of those places that was a local for us. We would just go hang out. I remember there were some people that I would see at Comic Connection and I would never really interact with. But when we got to Tommy's house and started playing games, I actually got to know the person and kind of became more friendly with that person. So I really, really think, as far as I'm concerned, I'm really missing the aspect of having a local for video games. Anyway, look him up. Look up Triforce of Power. You can check it out. It's absolutely disgusting. Um, oh man, speaking about Comic Connection, there was one time that Tommy held a tournament at Smash Brothers. Not at Smash Brothers, at Comic Connection. What I think he called it Saks. It was like Smash at a comic store, something like that. I don't remember. And there is a really, really big video on YouTube that covers Tommy versus another Ganondorf. It's a mirror match, and I don't know who got that tape or that footage, but I originally took that footage. That was me with this huge camera, handheld camera, and recording the matchup. And there's one point where I'm like, "Oh, that's my friend," and that's me. Anyway, somehow someone got it. Someone, you know what? Actually, I think back in the day, I think I captured it and put it on a bunch of VHS tapes. So maybe someone gave someone a VHS tape and then they uploaded it online. But yeah, man. Anyway, I'm gonna have to go over that. I might have to get some people on to help me talk about that event, because that was a fun day. But yeah, I think we're really missing the local. Well, I can't say we. I don't know if that's the case for you, but as far as I'm concerned, I think I'm really missing the aspect of a locals when it comes to fighting games. So let me know if that's the case for you. Do you go to a locals? If so, where? Is it just buddy's house? Is it your house? Do you go to a business or something like that? Do you go to a local weekly tournament? Or are you like me and you're just playing online at home?
Unky G's on that beat.
If you enjoyed this, hit the like button. It really does help, probably more than you realize. If you're into gaming, you can subscribe. And if you want to check me out on any other platforms, there's a link in the description. It's a link tree with all my stuff in it. Go ahead and hit me up there. If you want to see more stuff from me, there's a video on screen now. But until then, don't get beat up out there.